Hello, everybody. Welcome to Unit 6. We have just got through Unit 5, which Unit 5 had us discussing the Civil War and Reconstruction and how America responded to the Civil War and the challenges that would come out of the Civil War. Unit 6, though, is going to be when you're going to see that there is going to be rapid change within the United States. A lot of what we had talked about with the Civil War and Reconstruction, especially in the North, where we talked about because of Reconstruction and because of the Civil War and the building up of factories there and all that kind of stuff that was happening in the North, that is going to really pave the way for after Reconstruction and even during Reconstruction, you are going to see the North really explode and the United States as a whole explode as a manufacturing powerhouse. Now, to start this era, we're going to start by talking about the Wild West. And I'm going to talk about this more when I talk about the Wild West. But you're going to see a lot of times, and I know that I did this personally, when talking about the Wild West, you tend to think about the West being a different time period than what it actually was. But you'll see when we talk about the Wild West that really, because of what was happening with industrialization and everything with that, that is what allowed the Wild West time period to happen. So we're going to discuss that. We're going to discuss changing business in the United States. The United States, again, is going to come to the forefront of being an industrial powerhouse during this time as factories grow and blossom and develop within the cities. Again, this is a time of very rapid industrialization for the United States. With that industrialization, you're going to see that that's going to bring social changes as more and more people move into the cities. Cities are going to start looking a whole lot different than they did before this, as you're having more people flock to the northern cities during this time. Also, you're going to see during this time, politics is kind of boring during this time. You're not going to see a whole lot of contention in politics. Actually, they call this the era of congressional government because Congress was really in control of a lot what was happening. And you're going to see that there's not a ton interesting in politics. And in fact, when we do talk about politics, you're going to see the most interesting thing that we talk about is actually going to be the battle over the gold versus the silver standard, which is weird to think that that's something that people will get excited about in politics, but they actually will get very excited about that. And it's going to lead to the most contentious election of this era, which is going to be the election of 1896. So the time periods for this unit is 1877, which marks the end of Reconstruction, to 1898. The reason it stops at 1898 is because that's going to be when we start talking about the Spanish-American War, which is going to lead us into our next era. Also, another thing we're going to see with this is we're going to talk about the South and what the South is going to look like during this period. You're going to see the South is going to still be very much behind as far as industrialization goes, and is still struggling and grappling with the Civil War or the results of the Civil War. And also, you're going to see during this time the development, you're going to have the Plessy versus Ferguson decision that happens in 1896. And you're going to see that after Reconstruction, that you're going to have a lot of racism still very prevalent in the country. You're going to see that things in the South pretty much go to how back to how they were before the Civil War without slaves. But you're even going to see some more pronounced racism happening in the North during this time as you're having more African Americans move into the North from the South. So this unit will take us about 8 days to get through. And again, this is really a time of you're going to see rapid change and industrialization in the country. And we're really going to focus on what that did to the country and how that changed us. Because really what happens in the country during this time as far as industrialization is going to change the future trajectory of the United States. And you can even see examples of that today. Like after World War II, China really builds up and slowly becomes an industrial powerhouse, and what that meant for China's growth as a country, which now China is considered one of the major world powers just because they are an industrial power. So I hope you enjoyed this unit. I hope you enjoy getting to talk about the Wild West, which is one of my favorite things to talk about. And otherwise, I hope you have a fantastic day.